In October of 2023, it was announced that the long-awaited theatrical adaptation of Stephen King's vampire novel Salem's Lot was likely headed for the small screen rather than the big screen. The plan at that time was to potentially debut the film on the HBO Max streaming service, but nothing concrete had been decided. Well, as of today, March 12, 2024, The Hollywood Reporter published an article confirming that Salem's Lot is indeed headed for release on HBO Max in 2024. Quote, "The fate of New Line's adaptation of Stephen King's Salem's Lot has been sealed. New Line parent company Warner Bros. Discovery will debut the vampire thriller on the streaming service Max later this year," the company said Tuesday. No date was given, but sources believe a fourth quarter release is likely. Veteran horror scribe Gary Dauberman, known for writing the It and Annabelle films and for helming Annabelle Comes Home, wrote and directed the movie, whose distribution plans have been in flux since Warner Media, which owned New Line and Warner Bros., merged with Discovery Inc. in spring of 2022. The movie was originally due to hit theaters in September 2022. Then, after the merger, it was moved to April 2023. Later, it was taken off the theatrical release schedule completely. King, who wrote his book in the mid-1970s and whose adaptations have made billions for Hollywood over the decades, may have forced Warner's to make a decision. Quoting King, "Between you and me, Twitter, I've seen the new Salem's Lot, and it's quite good," the author wrote on X, formerly known as Twitter, February 19. "Old-school horror filmmaking, slow build, big payoff. Not sure why WB is holding it back. Not like it's embarrassing or anything. Who knows? I just write the effing things." The book centered on an author who returns to his hometown only to discover that the townspeople are slowly being turned into vampires. Lewis Pullman stars as the author, and the cast includes Mackenzie Lee, Alfre Woodard, John Benjamin Hickey, Bill Camp, Jordan Preston Carter, and Palou Asbeck. Hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. James Wan, Michael Clear, Roy Lee, and Mark Wolper produced the movie. So there you have it. After inexplicably delaying the film's release twice, and then also inexplicably deciding to stream it rather than giving it the expected theatrical release, we will apparently be able to see it on HBO Max later this year. They're saying the fourth quarter of the year, but they don't mention why this is. Maybe it's to coincide with the Halloween horror movie season. That's the only thing that makes any real sense to me, but who knows? I mean, even Stephen King doesn't know what's going on with this thing. In the past, I speculated that maybe the film was bad, as some who had seen private screenings maintained, and they didn't want it to tank at the box office. But then King himself saw it and said on Twitter that it was great. It's supposed to be a slow-burn film with the old Hollywood feel, as you saw in his quote. But as many of you pointed out on this channel when I talked about it last year, King has endorsed some, shall we say, material of questionable quality in the past. So at this point, it's really hard to use his opinion as a gauge either. Maybe it really is good, and these Hollywood execs just don't recognize what makes a good horror film anymore, and they think it's bad. I could actually believe that, but who really knows? The studio has been very tight-lipped about this film. So far, all we have is a couple of movie posters, not even a trailer. As I've said before, the whole thing is just downright strange. Maybe as we get closer to the latest scheduled release date, we'll at least get a teaser trailer or something, anything, that will give us a better idea of what we're in for. In the meantime, if you need a Salem's Lot fix, by all means, go back and rewatch the Tobe Hooper 1979 miniseries, possibly the greatest vampire film ever made. Maybe this new adaptation will top it, but as far as I'm concerned, and I know as far as many of you are concerned, as of right now, the original is king.
You can do nothing against the master.